Angat against Eddie Jones. Fast Eddie Jones. 7 rounds in the featherweight classification, and 2 men that justifiably should get a title shot if they come away with a win here.
Well, both of these guys are outstanding. Eddie Jones is just a young guy, 19 years old. He's on the way up. He's got 10 wins, 1 loss. Jorge Angat is a guy that lost to Troy Dorsey in a real tough one, but he came back and he beat the world champion in the bantamweight division, Felipe Garcia, on a cut. So he's had some success recently.
Eddie Jones, out of Atlanta, Georgia, just 5'8", 131 pounds, looking for a title shot. Here's a closer look at Eddie Jones of Atlanta.
Atlanta's Eddie Jones is the PKA's 4th-ranked featherweight contender. In this June 15th fight in West Palm Beach, it's Jones and David McGee. Both fighters started fast, but at the end of the round, Jones nailed McGee with a sidekick. Jones used his reach advantage to force McGee to fight on the outside. As McGee became frustrated, Jones again struck in a solid sidekick, which dropped Dave a second time. By the 5th round, and with a comfortable lead, Jones began to really open up. He showed good hand combinations, pressured McGee into the corner, and tried for the knockout. In the 6th, Jones went back to his kicking game to prevent McGee from being able to pull any last-second victories. The win over McGee moved Jones up in the ratings, and now he faces number 2-ranked featherweight Jorge Angat.
There he is, perhaps the star of the future. Interestingly, in talking with John Moncayo earlier today, whom we'll see later in our main event, he told me that it's the opponent for Eddie Jones, Jorge Angat, that perhaps is the brightest star of the future in the sport of PKA. Out of Oxnard, California, here's a closer look at Jorge Angat.
Number 2 world-ranked featherweight Jorge Angat is making his first ESPN appearance in over 1 year. The last time we saw Angat was against number 2-ranked bantamweight Troy Dorsey on June 2nd, 1984 in Santa Barbara, California. Dorsey and Angat wasted little time as they spent the first round trading fast hand combinations. If the highly regarded Dorsey expected Angat to wear down, he was in for a surprise. In the 3rd, Angat and Dorsey both kicked infrequently and stayed at close range with furious infighting. By the 6th round, Dorsey's strength advantage finally began to take its toll on Angat. He started to take control of the fight. Dorsey simply proved to be too much for Jorge Angat. Angat's performance against Dorsey did earn him a great deal of respect, but he needs a win over Eddie Jones to stay at the top of the ratings and to get a shot at featherweight champ Paul Vizio.
That could happen if Jorge Angat could come away with a win here against Eddie Jones in Jones's hometown. Here's the introduction now, coming from ring announcer Larry Black.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the beautiful Westin Peachtree Plaza Hotel Grand Ballroom, we're scheduled for a 7-round bout in the featherweight division. Introducing first, in the blue corner, from Oxnard, California, representing the Flores Brothers Karate. He is 23 years old, stands 5 feet 4 inches tall, and weighed in at 132 pounds. He has a contact karate record of 19 wins, 6 losses, and 1 draw, with 14 of his wins by knockout. He is the PKA number 2-ranked featherweight contender in the world. Welcome, please, Jorge Angat. Jorge Angat. And in the red corner, from Atlanta, Georgia, he is 19 years old. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighed in at 131 pounds. He has a contact karate record of 10 wins and 1 loss, with 2 of his wins by knockout. He is the PKA number 4-ranked featherweight contender. Ladies and gentlemen, Eddy Jones. Our referee for this bout is Bill Clark.
All right, so there's Eddy Jones. Now, when you look at these two men, we're talking about two men that are both pretty small, but boy, Angat really gives up a lot of ground.
Keep your hands up.
A lot of reach.
Protect yourself and stop fighting. You both understand that? I'll let you fight unless you hold each other, push each other, or put your head on each other. Both understand. Otherwise, I'll let you continue to fight. Step back, bow the knee to each other. Have a great fight.
Jorge Angat, ranked second, only 5'4". And Eddy Jones. And both are adept kickers, aren't they?
Both throw nice kicks. Eddy Jones probably will have a kicking advantage here, but I think Angat's going to be a little better on the inside.
Round one, we're scheduled for 7.
You don't want to blink in this kind of a fight, though. I'll tell you, both these guys are just incredibly quick.
And this could be a forerunner, really, of several bouts between these two. I mean, one's 23 and the other's 19. They could conceivably meet for a championship themselves once, twice, maybe more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. These guys are going to be around for a long time. They're both outstanding young athletes. Nice spinning kick there on the counter by Angat.
Angat, boy, he just ran right into Jones and threw a right that really landed on the chin of Eddy Jones. Well, Angat knows that he has to get inside early. Good left hand. A glancing left hand that scores, and Jones is sent reeling into the ropes.
I'm very, very impressed so far with the poise and the quickness of Jorge Angat. He is just hitting Eddy Jones faster than Jones can react so far. He has come across the gap there, just blazed across with a, almost looked like a point karate type of a attack, landing a strong right hand. Quick.
Hopping around on the canvas as though it were a trampoline. Boy, he's fresh. Jorge Angat.
I don't think you can catch Angat in a phone booth. Eddy Jones is looking a little unsettled right now. I think he's a little confused, and he's having a hard time getting into Angat's timing. A lot of redness there right around his right eye. Seems to be bothered by it.
Well, he took at least 2 good left hands and a good right cross in that waylay in the corner by Angat once he got inside. We're coming to the end of round 1, and it has been a good round for Jorge Angat. We should mention that Eddy Jones has only lost 1 time, and usually he gets out to a good start. So this must be a different feeling for him as he goes to his corner.
If I were in his corner, I'm sure they would want to tell him to use again the leg reach he has. He's got more reach with his front leg. He needs to stick those strong left leg side kicks in.
Let's take a look now at the rules here in PKA Karate. John Worley?
Well, these fighters will be fighting 2-minute rounds. They're in the middle of a 1-minute rest period right now. Each fighter has to land a minimum of 8 hard kicks each round, a very important part of the sport. All the kicks and all the punches are above the waist, with the exception of sweeps, which can happen down around the ankle. All the judges are going to score on a 10-point must system, giving 10 points to the fighter that they feel has won the round. And our fighters are wearing regulation 8 or 10-ounce gloves and 4-ounce foot pads. These fighters now are in 8-ounce gloves.
Round 2 scheduled for 7 featherweights. Jorge Angat in beige. Eddy Jones decked out in blue. Jones from Atlanta, Georgia, fighting before the home crowd. But Angat has certainly taken away any home turf advantage after 1 round, hasn't he?
Where Angat has an advantage is when Jones sits up there to try to match hands with him. When Jones is thinking punch, Angat is able to get inside and hit him quicker than he can react. When Jones is thinking kick, Angat's having a little tougher time.
Left round kick, a glancing one. from Jones. Did not score. And now Angat scores again in much the same fashion as he did in round one.
He's continually doing that. Every time Jones sets up to try to match hands, Angat's getting in quicker than Jones can react. He's just amazingly quick.
The champion in the featherweight category is Paul Vizio, and he's really been rather inactive. So a lot of people feel that maybe both of these two have bypassed him, perhaps.
Well, Vizio's a cagey old guy. He's been around a long time, and he's beat a lot of good people, so nobody takes him lightly. But he has been sitting on the shelf for quite some time now, and he's not getting any younger.
Well, Eddy Jones, you can tell here in the first couple of rounds, obviously needs to hone his talent perhaps a bit further to be ready for a championship shot. But Angat, boy, he looks to be very well composed and ready for a title shot if this can continue for much more time. Ooh, a good left hand again by Angat. They're not big blows, but they're telling blows. Coming now to the end of round number 2. Plaza in Atlanta, Georgia, everyone. Tim Brando and John Worley with you. This is the third round, scheduled for 7. Featherweight contenders Jorge Angat and Eddy Jones. And Angat again inside, all over Jones. And Jones trying to fight out of trouble. And he may have done just that.
Jones finished the last round in better shape than he did the first round, but still having a lot of trouble with the timing of Jorge Angat.
How do you have it scored at this point, John?
I've got Angat leading 20-18 after 2 rounds. First round was a better round than the second, but still, he's in control right now.
There it is again. Taking hand movement, Angat sneaks in a couple of quick lefts and a right.
Jones needs to keep going with the front leg kicking, keep hammering those in, and then try to follow up with hands. But when he waits, Angat just gets on him so quickly.
You look at this sport and the fact that kicking means so much, you'd think that anyone, no matter how big he might be weight-wise, that's 5'4", would have all kinds of difficulties. So Angat is certainly not the rule. He's the exception.
Angat has a great place to train. He trains with Boris Brothers Karate School in Oxnard, and they really do a good job working with him on that. I'm sure have put him in with a lot of tall guys.
And you see the time remaining now in the third round. Eddy Jones beginning perhaps to get a rhythm.
Jones having his best round in this round. I don't know whether maybe the pace has slowed a little bit, making Angat a little bit easier target to hit. But Jones seems to be getting a little bit into the timing now.
We're coming to the end of round 3, and there's the bell. Well, the crowd and Asa Gordon and Jim Korb are in the corner now of Eddy Jones. Let's listen in.
Don't give him room for those kicks. You can kick in there. He can't. You got to close that gap up, Eddy. What hands and feet. Too far out. Not only that, you are not watching those damn punches.
You're not watching them punches,
you're not watching them.
And you're still giving me 1 and 2. Right there at the end, you could have nailed him with 5 punches. Don't back off.
When you go out there,
Don't worry about running out of gas. Damn it.
when you go out there, you close that gap from the very damn beginning.
Get right on top of him.
On his ass.
You can kick there. He can't.
Tighten those horns up tight. Tuck it in a little bit and punch straight down the damn middle.
And there is Jorge Angat now. I already mentioned the people that are working with him. Among those, Refugio Flores in his corner. Oh, and a jump back kick that scored at the outset coming from Angat. Well, Angat comes out strong, doesn't he? Round 4.
Looking real good. They were trying to get Jones to go ahead and stay in with him and match hands. They said that he could fight inside with Angat, but Angat's just so quick.
I also heard Asa Gordon mention that you can kick and he can. So perhaps they also would like to see more kicks earlier at the beginning of a round from Eddy Jones. But you're right, they did say he could match him, didn't they?
Well, Jones, one thing that he's doing that Angat's picking up on is Jones is stepping with his front foot before he throws a round kick a lot of times, and that's giving Angat that clue he needs to step inside.
A round kick with the left leg coming from Angat, scored, though not a telling blow against Eddy Jones. Angat sometimes appears to be lunging with his punches, but he's so quick that he can't absorb any punch from his opponent.
Well, you know, historically, lunging with your hands is a real sin. You don't do that, but Angat's had a lot of success with it.
Give me that run. Hey, damn it. What are you holding it for?
He's really mixing up his punches, too. He's going to the head, sometimes to the body.
Eddy Jones had a really pretty bad rib injury about a week ago. I don't know how much that's having an effect on him, or if it's having an effect. He seems to be okay with his breathing, but I know he was in a lot of pain only 3 or 4 days ago in training.
Angat does have an experience advantage over Jones. Coming in 19-6 to 10-1 for Eddy Jones. Fourth for both fighters. And as we come to the end of the round, 5 is underway between these featherweights. Jorge Angat and Eddy Jones. Angat in beige, Jones in blue. Tim Brando with John Worley with you here in Atlanta. We're happy you joined us here on ESPN. Pivotal round perhaps coming up here for Eddy Jones. How do you have it scored, John?
I've got Jorge Angat ahead 40-37 unofficially here. The judges at ringside, of course, are going to be doing the official judging, but Angat's looked awfully good.
Well, he has 3 rounds, Jones does, to even things out. So he needs to get the motor running right here, doesn't he?
Well, you know, Angat's moving very well now, staying away from the front leg. Just as I say that, Jones lands a pretty good round kick.
Jones more willing to use his kicks early in this round. Angat has scored with flurries of punches, combinations that have backed Jones up, and he's used his quickness to get inside the more angular Eddy Jones. That's where he has mounted this lead that we unofficially have after 4 rounds.
Well, the best thing that Angat has done is been able to neutralize Jones's reach advantage. Jones at 5'8" is taller than most of the guys in this division. I don't think he's ever had anybody that could deal with his reach as effectively as Angat seems to be able to.
Good left hand from Angat, blocked partially by Jones.
Jones were a stronger fighter, he could take a Troy Dorsey approach and just try to muscle Angat, get him in the ropes, but he hasn't chosen to do that. He may not be strong enough to get in there and muscle Angat like Dorsey could.
If it's a points contest, and we do have 2 rounds left, you'd have to give the advantage right now to Jorge Angat, who we see right there.
Well, I think he certainly has been in the lead here. I gave the last round, though, to Eddy Jones. I thought that was his best round. Angat seemed to be maybe taking a little break, take a little rest round.
That's all right.
Again, to remind you, as you see Refugio Flores, his cornerman, talking to the winner of perhaps a title shot. Let's listen to Refugio now.
You've been around better people than this fucking Jordan. You see what the heck you're doing, get out there and be first, okay? But don't play this fucking game, George. Yeah. Play, do your thing, okay?
Eddy Jones, listening to Carl McCollum along with Asa Gordon. Round 6, scheduled for 7 featherweights. Jorge Angat and Eddy Jones. Here comes Angat again at the beginning of a round.
Oh, he's a fire plug. I tell you, he's just a spark plug, I should say.
Yeah.
Kind of a fire plug, too, sure. Oh, there's that running, kind of a lunging running right hand.
That's the same right hand that he used in the opening round to stun Eddy Jones, and really did set the tempo for the bout at that point, didn't it?
Seemed to. Jones had a hard time recovering from it. It's just an unorthodox looking attack. He really just sort of charges across. but it's been effective for him.
The left round kick is blocked by Eddy Jones. Comes back with a side kick with his arm. 2 misses. Round kick in the midsection. Not effective. But the two have exchanged a couple of blows, some rights and lefts, and now there's a cut on the right eyebrow of Jorge Angat. And a good right-left from Jones. And the two trade punches here. It's a pretty good cut on that right brow of Jorge Angat.
Seems like it's far enough over to the side that they wouldn't want to step in and stop it. It's not over his eye as much as it is around on the right side.
Shouldn't hurt his vision. But it was a glancing right hand after a kick by Jones that opened up Jorge Angat. Oh, good rights and lefts and a nice round kick from Eddy Jones. So Jones growing in confidence and scoring some points here in the latter stages of this bout. And the end of round 6 is coming up. Let's take a look now at that cut on the right eyebrow of Jorge Angat. They're working on it right now.
That was actually a very good, very competitive round for both fighters, I think. And it was really hard to pick a winner in that round because Angat was countering Jones very effectively, but Jones was hitting him with some good shots, too.
My last round, son. Last round.
Give it some
Eddy Jones has never been through a bout quite as competitive as this one in a while anyway.
Well, you know, he lost a fight to a Canadian not too terribly long ago, and that's been the only loss he's had. But certainly this has got to be the best pure fighter he's faced thus far. As we see both of them just kind of straightening out rights and lefts right in the middle of the ring.
This is it, the 7th round. Eddy Jones in blue from Atlanta. And from Oxnard, California, Jorge Angat in beige. And again, how important is this round? How do you have it scored?
I've got Angat up 59-57, 2 points. So Eddy Jones, in my opinion, needs a real big round here to pull this fight out.
Angat ranked 2nd in the world. Jones ranked 4th. A good right hand from Angat again that scores. Jones counters with a left hand. And the two are collectively putting on a clinic. The crowd getting behind their hometown hero, Eddy Jones. Capacity crowd here at the Westin Peachtree Plaza in Atlanta. Angat is retreating a bit in this round, and that's the first time we've seen that.
Jones, I think, with the crowd cheering him on, is really making a great effort here in the last few moments of the last round. It may be a little too late, though.
Only 30 seconds left in this last round.
The crowd sensing that we're under 30 seconds left in the fight. Urging on Eddy Jones. Jones has used all types of kicks here in this round. And he has kept Angat from getting inside in the last 3 rounds. Will be an interesting decision coming up. 2 featherweights that are vying for a title shot.